What is going on here? I'm gonna need your help on this one. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I need to talk about something that's really been bothering me. I'm like super confused. Let's just get right into it. I'm sure some of you have seen the headlines about a same-sex couple. One of them was confirmed and received into the Catholic Church. Now, I don't know all the details about this, but from what I've heard, his sponsor is his partner or husband. And this just raises a lot of concerns for me as a new convert. I'm learning all about the Catholic faith. One of the main things that drew me to Catholicism is the continuity of the church. So I don't need to worry about one Catholic church teaching this and one other one teaching that. The views are pretty set in stone of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. One of the first things I want to address is same-sex attraction. Growing up, most of my friends were gay, and still till this day, my very best friend, who's like a brother to me, is gay. I have always held this view. I am not here to judge people, especially if you're an adult. What you're doing in the privacy of your home, if you are two consenting adults, as long as you're not doing anything unethical or illegal, it's none of my business, and I don't need to worry about that. Today, I know that people are very sensitive about these topics because, quite frankly, some people have just taken this really too far, where it's affecting their children in schools and things like that. I'm not gonna go down that road. Now, when I was attending Protestant churches, I've been to all different ones, most of them held the same view on same-sex marriage, that they don't feel that it's valid because marriage is between a man and a woman, which I agree with. And if you are same-sex attracted and you're not celibate, then technically you are living in sin. What really throws me off about this whole thing is that there's so many different Protestant denominations. Now, most of the high church Protestant denominations like Lutheran, Anglican, Presbyterian, Episcopalian, these evangelical or non-denominational churches kind of just make things up as they go along. I've heard of different churches that have transgender pastors, they have female pastors, and it's just so confusing to me. I've never been okay with that. I think that the church needs to remain traditional. I feel like when you allow progressivism to sneak in, nothing good comes out of it. I mean, look at our country today. Just look at the world. The more progressive we become, the more chaotic things are, the more divided we are. We're thinking if we're more inclusive and more open-minded, then society will just be great. Look around you right now. Everybody is at each other's throats over a variety of different topics. I kind of attribute this to getting further away from God, becoming more secularized. So when the church starts curbing the views to appease the world and our culture, what do you have left at that point? Church doctrine is really all you have left in this world that tells you truly what's right and what's wrong without a personal bias attached to it. When I saw this headline, I was deeply disturbed, mainly because on this conversion journey myself, I'm a catechumen, so I'm going through the process, I'm going through OCIA, I'm attending Mass regularly, I'm studying scripture, I'm studying about the Catholic faith. Now, from what I've learned so far, that in order to be received into the church and be confirmed, you have to be in a state of grace. That means you can't be like living in sin. If I wasn't married and I was living with my boyfriend and we were not being celibate, then I would not be in a state of grace, and therefore I wouldn't be allowed to be confirmed. So if you're divorced and remarried, you are no longer allowed to receive communion. I know that some people can get their marriages annulled, so it's very confusing for me to see this contradiction happening. So you have this same-sex couple who one of the guys is being confirmed, and his sponsor, I guess, is his husband or partner. This raises a really big question. Are these guys completely celibate and living separately, but they're just attracted to each other? Or are they in union with each other, married and living together and not celibate? And so I don't know the answers to that. How are they allowed to be confirmed? And this is why I need your guys' feedback. I need people to tell me what you think about the situation. Is this headline misleading? Is there more to the story? I don't really know, and I don't like jumping to conclusions when I see a headline because, let's just face it, the media completely lies and makes up stuff, twists the truth so that they can get views and they can get clicks and all of that. Now, this also goes back to why I decided to be Catholic, is because there's a central teaching authority, like the magisterium. I don't need to worry about church doctrine changing because of one person's opinion. However, there are some things that I've seen and heard that are alarming. I've seen recently another article about a bishop who is praising the LGBT community and says that it's totally fine. In other words, like it needs to be normalized and not condemned. That's really confusing for me as well. Who is this person? Why does he get to say this? Does it matter? Does it affect anything? For instance, does he have any say-so in his diocese of what they accept and allow into their church? I think that every single person should be welcome into the church. When I say welcome, I mean nobody should be denied coming to church. Again, if you're not in a state of grace, you're not allowed to receive communion. But that doesn't mean that you can't come to Mass, believe in Catholicism. It's just a complicated situation. I think some people get really worked up over, well, you can't allow these types of people to participate, they shouldn't be here. That's the kind of attitude that kept me from being Christian for most of my adult life. Being able to accept people, be kind to people. You don't have to treat people like they're less than because they live their life in a way that you disagree with. As long as you're not doing anything unethical or illegal, I don't understand why some people can't just be accepting and kind without judging. A lot of fundamentalist Protestants are horrible at that. I'll just say that. They are very bigoted. Some of the things they say and the way they treat people are just absolutely unacceptable. They're dehumanizing other people because they don't like the way they live their life. They feel justified to be critical and condemn them to go to hell, which is awful, and it's not the Christian way. Really, going back to Christianity and the church itself, it's like a hospital for sinners. People come to church to be fixed. We are not our own saviors. So if that was the case, we wouldn't need Jesus. We wouldn't need to go to church. And if we deny people that ability, then how can we even be in a position of judging them when we're not even giving them the opportunity to redeem themselves? I've seen a lot of different people who are homosexual, who are Catholic and Protestant, and they've said, I'm celibate because I'm dedicated to my faith. Some of these people can't necessarily control that same-sex attraction that they have, but they recognize and acknowledge that they shouldn't be acting on it if they're going to be in a state of grace as a Christian. So this is just very confusing. Again, my head's just kind of spinning right now. How come it's okay for this dude to get confirmed, but someone who's been divorced and remarried aren't allowed to be receiving communion because of that? Because technically, if you're saying they're not in a state of grace, then maybe you've broken this sacrament because you're divorced, because marriage is a sacrament. But then this couple over here is married, but they're a same-sex couple, so that's not even a valid marriage. But they're allowed to do it. I'm just so lost. So I'm making this video to kind of open up this conversation. I know it's a sensitive topic. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm not afraid to tell you my thoughts. Some people might disagree with me. People might agree with me, but I'm not here to please everybody else. I'm here to just share my thoughts and learn from some of you guys out there. If you like this video, please don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I will see you next time.